I am leaving the European Union without a deal. I don't give a stuff one way or the other. I am leaving the European Union. And if you want to join me, you can too. Scott, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I know the Green Party don't make their mind up about anything, but what do you think about it?
I think this is an absolute nightmare for the British public, and I think it's time to just put this away and just stick with the deal that we have, which is to remain in the EU.
So, to put that succinctly, you don't believe in democracy, you're going to stay in the EU. Emily,
I believe
what do you think?
so much in democracy, James, that you don't have less democracy by having another vote. Let's
We had
have
a
another
vote.
vote.
We don't need a vote.
Let's
We
have
had a vote.
We,
We don't
we
need
do.
a vote. We don't
Even
need
in
a
vote
vote.
leave areas,
We
65
had a
on
vote.
average, 65%, even in vote leave areas, now want to have a final say on
Rubbish.
this deal
That is
because they
complete
know
rubbish.
that it's going. Why is it rubbish?
That is complete rubbish because
Well, where
you
are you
have
getting your
no
facts
figures
from?
to prove that.
The idea that you would come out in the name of democracy by trying to overturn the vote of 17.4 million people and let us walk back into a club, the leaders of which most people in this country can't name, for goodness sake, who are barely elected themselves, and most of them are completely white as well. Let's be honest, he's not exactly the kind of ethnic smorgasbord that fully represents the European. It's not a complete lie. Have a look at them.
The British
Jonny
public.
Gould, what do you think?
Well,
British
can
public.
I add? This is like 60 seconds, isn't it? Can I add anything to what you've said? Only what I would say is that this bragging about being the first party to call for a people's vote in 2016 is a bit of a... Because, of course, your hunch was that you were going to win, and you lost.
Yes.
Actually, I don't think we need a deal. I just think we need to leave, and then they'll do a deal. Then they will be begging us for a free trade deal. Everything will be fine. Emily.
I agree. It's literally got to the point where it's like, please, can we just leave? It is now a case of the people versus Parliament. And I think at the next election, the only positive that we can really take from all of this is I think people will vote for the Conservatives because this whole, blocking of the timetable, doing everything in their power to miss the 31st of October deadline will really play into Boris's...
Now, Emily, you're very unusual because you're a young person, and all young people, well,
Apparently.
compare with everybody here.
Apparently.
You are, oh, sorry, Patrick. You're a young person, and you are supposed to be in favour of remaining in the EU.
Well, it's funny you should say that because if you ask, the children of Greece, I think they'd very much be on board with me. I mean, youth unemployment in the Eurozone is sky high.
Didn't Greece bail out? Didn't the EU bail out Greece?
Children from Greece, the kids from Fame, whoever you ask, they all want to leave. And you know what the Greeks are talking about? They don't have a great history with Germany, and what they're worried about is that Britain in the EU was an important counterbalance to German power. What is German power? It is the European Union. And when we leave, Germany will be a disproportionate power in the EU. That is why Greeks would like us to stay in the EU, and that really is the only one.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I think there's a lot of privileged people here.
Stop it.
As a Lambeth councillor, I have seen the effects of inequality in this country
don't start
and
talking
15
rubbish.
years of
Scott,
Tory
hang on,
austerity.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Don't start talking rubbish. Don't bring up the idea that there is a class system in this country because there isn't. We're all
There are those
ordinary
with
people.
money and there are those
There
with not,
will
and the inequality
always-
gap has
hang
gone
on,
like
hang on,
that. It's
sure.
ridiculous.
There will always be people with money and there will always be people with less money. You've got to get over it, okay?
Yeah,
and
but
people
back
are
in the
not
day-
the same. Everybody thinks they're special. We all think we're better than somebody else
You can have a look at
inside
my bank
ourselves.
account now, mate.
So let's not go down that line.
No, well,
Absolutely
look,
shocking.
I have seen the division between the rich and poor in London go like that since over the last 20, 30 years. Have we not?
No, it's
Oh,
the
for goodness
assets
sake.
that people hold, it's not the cash.
What about those people
People
who
are
have
asset
no
rich
money
and
in the
penny
north?
poor.
We'll start with William on YouTube. He says, long story short, if you voted Remain, you'll think of any excuse to deny a general election. Everyone else welcomes one. Job done. Well, I voted Remain. However, I think I'm going to announce it now, James. I think I'm a Brexiteer. I'm absolutely done with it. I'm done with it.
I'm going to say, so 5 against.
But we are now so far down the line that we need to sort out something. Because at the moment, it's an absolute car crash. The Lib Dems, I have no idea what their game plan is. They're obviously just trying to steal from the Remainers in the Labour Party. The Brexit Party are going to steal from the Labour Party. So I have no idea who the Labour Party are appealing to. The Lib Dems have lost all respect. Who do I vote for at the next election? I am politically homeless.
by the time we've had a second referendum, and goodness knows what the result of that would be, and then another general election, and whatever, we're another 3 years down the line. Our economy is going to be knackered. It's this self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's already knackered.
Oh, it's only because of people like you who don't let us get the ball rolling.
That's nonsense.
How are you going to feel?
It's the Tory party.
How are you
it's the
going to
MPs
feel
that we have currently.
Right.
If the MPs in the government right now can't make a decision, it's time to replace them all.
The Green Party,
Hold on a sec. Let me finish my point.
Let alone a country. All right.
If I could just
walk my dog, mate. I mean, I don't really understand how this is going to happen.
Well, I don't think you could write an article for the Guardian. How about that? I mean, come on. I mean,
excuse me. That word is not allowed on this show. All right. I want to know your thoughts, Scott, on Extinction Rebellion's protest, which did nothing except annoy lots of people. And we're never going to change the way the planet's going, by the way. It's not going to happen. And it cost £37 million. Not only did it cost £37 million, they also left 80 tonnes of rubbish.
Boris Johnson spent 54 million on the Garden Bridge that went to nothing.
What on earth is it with politicians who, when you
wanted
ask them
to
a
mention
question,
the money. So there's a counter to the money argument. But seriously,
Boris Johnson wasted loads of money on that and Boris Island. I'm not interested in that. I'm asking you about Extinction Rebellion.
So no, I'm just putting it into proportion.
You're not putting it into proportion.
But how have you done any sums in terms of what the environmental impact is going to be on London alone of cataclysmic climate breakdown? Have you done that?
Don't be so ridiculous. There's no such thing as cataclysmic climate breakdown.
The science is there, James. Are you going to deny the science? Are you suddenly an expert?
Do you know
more expert than the science?
Changes its mind continually.
They've been consistent on this for over 30 years. And you know it. You know it.
That is
people
nothing.
like you know this. And it beggars belief that you still get people on the far right still coming out with climate change.
Excuse me, I'm not on the far right. Don't excuse.
No, I'm just saying in Strasbourg.
I'm just talking to you sensibly,
James,
like a sensible
I do
person.
apologise. I didn't mean you. I'm talking about the people in Strasbourg. People on the far right in Strasbourg still saying that the science is all wrong. It's just, we've gone beyond this. It's just political spin to benefit financially in the short term, and it's not looking to the long term at all. Right now, we are consuming at the rate that would require 5 planets. We only have 1.
How many knife crimes happened and were not dealt with by police because they were dealing with a load of dreadlock people? How many people tried to get into Guy's Hospital with a critical emergency, but someone chained to a ruddy boat in the middle of the bridge stopped them from doing it? These people really care. I don't think they do. In fact, the only reason they're allowed to do it is because they didn't have jobs in the first place.
That's ridiculous. You had doctors, you had scientists, you had all sorts of professionals. You even had police officers, senior police officers, campaigning for Extinction Rebellion and saying this is the only way. When governments fail to act,
there's a way of doing it.
Come on, you're just doing express headlines.
Why don't you go to China and do it? They're pumping a load of stuff out. We're the 8th best country in the world.
Exactly. Let's get our own house in order first before we start preaching everywhere else.
By 2040, there will be no petrol or diesel cars sold in this country. Tell me, the other countries, go over there and complain to them.
It's Mr. Bum. It's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Who is that walking through the graveyard? It's Mr. Bum. Who's that being so ever slightly avant-garde? It's Donald Trump. Yeah. Wiggling it. Who is that just smashing it? It's Donald Trump. Ooh, Mr. Bum. Shut up! Who's that?
Mr. Trump?
Who's that?
What the hell is going on?
Who's that?
I'm enjoying.
It's only Mr. Bum, yeah!
Do you know that show had the highest ratings ever? I'm not surprised. Actually, that's Mike Water, but do you want that? Fine. Security! Could you come and take him off? I'm sorry about it. Just take him off now.
I thought this was just going to be like a radio show.
No, off.
With a webcam.
No.
I didn't realise it was a proper telly studio.
The BBC today is going to have the licence fee looked into. Patrick, you're desperate to say something. I feel the vibe from here.
They're just criminalising old people, aren't they, a lot of the time, BBC? No, they seriously are. Seriously. You want some of the most needy people in society who maybe don't have the lowest incomes and are frankly the most lonely, you now want them to pay to watch shows like Britain's Longest Road. Come on, it.
Well, that's the A1, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I saw 5 episodes on it.
Also, a report out today has revealed that 50% of young viewers have deserted the broadcaster. If they do, in fact, watch BBC programmes, they watch them on Amazon and Netflix, and maybe the licence thing is a thing of the past. What do you think, Emily?
Well, I do think the licence fee is a very kind of ancient concept, and I'm surprised that they're still chugging along. I mean, you've got Gary Lineker as the highest paid star on the BBC, and it's quite shocking, really, because I don't see him being that impartial.
Well, no, I don't see it. But the thing about the BBC is they should be doing stuff that the commercial broadcaster can't do, in my opinion, and they should be cut right back. They should have a TV channel, a radio channel, and all the local BBC radio stations, because they're important, I think. Johnny?
The BBC has a major credibility problem because most people are driven in this country by a profit motive. And if you give a licence fee to an organisation that has too much editorial budget, it looks at its navel. Just listen to any half hour on Radio 4, you just don't know what they're going to talk about. If you tune into their news programmes, there is an institutional bias which says, we don't work for a living, we get paid something. So like every other organisation in the country, not every, obviously there are public sector organisations as well, like the NHS, which again may need some reform, but the BBC, let's get back to this subject, they need, there is an organisation, there is a precedent for a public service broadcaster funded by sponsorship and advertising, and it's been going for 35 years, and its name is Channel 4. That is a public service broadcaster with sponsorship and advertising.
I've only got 2 minutes left. I want to go to Scott, and then I want to come to Patrick.
I would have paid the licence fee just for CBeebies alone when my kids were growing up. And David Attenborough, it's well worth it. I mean, you wouldn't have. You don't want these programmes to be interrupted by adverts constantly.
You can have David Attenborough. You can have
with Netflix.
Yeah.
You would have constant adverts bombarding you all the time. It was good to just put the kids down in front of the television where they could watch 1 hour of uninterrupted
cartoons. I don't really
cartoons.
think that's a good excuse to keep the licence fee. I think the BBC needs to be cut back. And I can reveal now that when the job of Director General comes up next year, after their 100th anniversary, I will be applying. Patrick?
Yeah, well, that's interesting you mentioned the Director General there, because whenever there's a scandal, he never goes and faces the world's media. He always gets asked some softball questions by BBC reporters like, what are you most proud of? I mean, it's pathetic, really. I think they've got their hand out, and frankly, they should focus more on producing better programmes and do a pay-per-view if you're that bothered by it.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, they have now got commercial arms of the BBC. They make so I'm there. If I pay a licence fee, I'm a shareholder. So if they sell something that I've contributed to, shouldn't I be getting money back? It's a ridiculous way of doing it. Also, having worked for the BBC from time to time, people get jobs there and they stay there for life. And that doesn't help really in this kind of business, does it?
I don't think
and like MPs, I would only have MPs there for 2 terms, no more than that.
Lazy.
Because it is.
I would agree with that.
Lazy.
Yeah. We've agreed at the end of the show. Fantastic.